5.8 GPA, a Poli-Sci Award winner. Plays chess. He enjoys classic rock, and he hopes to go into network systems administration for a large corporation. Rounding out the Kearsley team is Chris Schmidt. Chris is a sophomore at Kearsley, plays quiz ball, also enjoys chess. He's a 4-point student, hopes to study law at the University of Michigan. Those are our players for today's semifinal competition. Our judge, as always, from Genesee Intermediate School District is Julie Pritchett. Teams, we're ready to begin. Here are your rules for round one. About to ask you a series of questions worth 10 points apiece. The player buzzing first may answer when I recognize you. If you're correct, your team scores the 10 points. If you're incorrect, the other team gets a shot at the same question. Remember, you may interrupt me at any time I'm asking a question. No point penalties for incorrect answers. However, at that point, I would repeat the entire question for the other team. Good luck. Here we go. He was originally a king of the elves in Scottish mythology. By the time he appeared in A Midsummer Night's Brett Milford.
Oberon?
Oberon's incorrect. He was originally a king of the elves in Scottish mythology. By the time he appeared in A Midsummer Night's Dream, he'd been demoted to a mischief maker. Jason Kearsley.
Puck.
Puck is correct. Here's your next toss-up. Oceanus Hopkins was born during the voyage to the New World. Peregrine White was born aboard ship after it anchored at Plymouth Harbor. What ship? Graham Milford.
The Mayflower?
Mayflower is correct. Of Emily Bronte, Emile Zola, and Emily Dickinson, which writer was not a woman? Jason Kearsley.
Zola?
Zola is correct. In the 2002 Winter Olympics, Jamie Salé and David Pelletier were awarded their gold medals after it was discovered that the French judge had been bribed to favor Graham Milford.
Figure skating?
That's incorrect. In the 2002 Winter Olympics, Jamie Salé and David Pelletier were awarded their gold medals after it was discovered that the French judge had been bribed to favor the Russians. What country did these skaters? Jason Kearsley.
Canada.
Canada is correct. Next toss-up. English, French, Arabic, Chinese, Russian, and Spanish are the 6 official languages of this internet. Graham Milford.
The United Nations?
United Nations is correct. When the moon is between the Earth and the sun, we cannot see the moon because we're looking at its dark side. Is that a full moon, a new moon, or Brett Milford?
A new moon?
New moon is correct. Your next toss-up. Coca-Cola was created by Atlanta druggist John Pemberton in 1884. What soft drink was created by Caleb Bradham in New Bern, North Carolina in 1898? Graham Milford.
Pepsi?
Pepsi is correct. It was founded as the California Perfume Company in 1886 and now employs more than 1 million ladies around Jason Kearsley.
Avon?
Avon is correct. Euclid demonstrated that there are an infinite number of them, and computers find a larger one every few years. Jesse Milford.
Prime numbers?
Prime numbers is correct. In this order of classical Greek architecture, the capitals are at the top of the columns and in opposing fluted spirals. Jason Kearsley.
Ionic.
Ionic is correct. Your next toss-up. Although it's a trademark of the Johnson & Johnson Company, it's used to describe any quick cosmetic solution to a problem. What's the term? Jason Kearsley.
Band-Aid?
Band-Aid is correct. More than 3/4 of this country is an enormous ice cap. Some of it several thousand. Jason Kearsley.
Iceland.
It's incorrect. More than 3/4 of this country is an enormous ice cap, some of it several thousand feet thick. What is this country with a misleading name? Brett Milford.
Greenland?
Greenland is correct. It's caused by a defect in the gene that codes for factor VIII, a crucial blood clotting. Brett Milford.
Hemophilia?
Hemophilia is correct. Under the Articles of Confederation, it was the central governing body of the new republic. What was this legislature? Graham, Milford.
Congress?
That's incorrect. Kearsley? Kearsley, Jason?
The Continental Congress?
Continental Congress is the correct answer. The original drive-in was opened by brothers Maurice and Richard in San Bernardino, Chris, Kearsley.
McDonald's.
McDonald's is correct. Robert Millikan's famous oil drop experiment enabled him to determine the charge on this, Jesse Milford.
An electron?
Electron is correct. Eva Duarte, the illegitimate daughter of an Argentine farmer, is the title character in this musical. Let's see, Luke Milford.
Evita.
Evita is correct. In the 1780s, they included quartering and burning at the stake. How are these acts, Kent Kearsley?
Capital punishments?
That's incorrect. In the 1780s, they included quartering and burning at the stake. How are these acts described in the Eighth Amendment to the Constitution? Brett Milford.
Cruel and unusual punishments?
That's correct. Your next toss-up teams. One of the oldest poems in the English language begins, "O western wind, when will thou blow?" Proving, Jesse Milford.
The Seafarer?
It's incorrect. One of the oldest poems in the English language begins, "O western wind, when will thou blow?" Proving that this poetic device is at least as old as English literature. What is it? Chris Kearsley.
Personification.
It's incorrect. Alliteration is what I needed there. Here's your next toss-up. In 1933, she flew Eleanor Roosevelt in evening, Jason Kearsley.
Amelia Earhart?
That's correct. It's the Pelican State. Graham, Milford.
Louisiana?
Louisiana is correct. This state is cut almost in two by the Narragansett Bay, which runs 45 miles inland to the capital at Providence. Jason Kearsley.
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island is correct. If you suffer from Daltonism, you have the red-green form of this. Graham, Milford.
Color blindness?
That's correct. Another toss-up. It reduces the amount of glucose in the blood by causing it to be absorbed. Let's see, Jason Kearsley.
Insulin?
Insulin is correct. It's about 15 miles south of Washington, D.C. What is this former home of Chris Kearsley? Time's up. Luke Milford.
Mount Vernon?
Mount Vernon is correct. In Japan, students attend school 240 days a year. Within 5 days, how many days a year does the average U.S. student? Jason Kearsley.
180.
That's exactly right. In 2002, 1 in every 200 email messages contained one. Graham Milford.
A virus?
A virus is correct. Your next toss-up. T.S. Eliot's Murder in the Cathedral is set in this famous cathedral town where Chaucer's pilgrims were headed. Jason Kearsley.
Canterbury.
Canterbury is correct. Your next toss-up. Established by Ferdinand and Isabella in 1480, its principal targets were the Jews, forced to... Luke Milford.
The Spanish Inquisition?
That's correct. On the electromagnetic spectrum, ultraviolet light is on one side of visible light. Brett Milford.
Infrared?
Infrared is the correct answer. You score the 10 points, and that brings us to the end of the round. And as you can see, a high-scoring game. Kearsley, you do trail. That gives you the first crack at round 2. That's our 60-second round. I'm about to give you a choice of 3 categories. Once you've selected, you'll have 60 seconds to answer up to 10 questions in that category. Remember, you may consult during this round. No need to buzz in, but I'll only take answers from Jason, the team captain. If you don't know an answer, you must say pass before I move on. We'll give you 10 points for each correct answer, a 20-point bonus if all 10 are correct. Once your 60 seconds is up, Kearsley, Milford, you'll have 30 seconds to answer anything they missed, passed on, or didn't get to, and then we repeat the process. Kearsley, your choices are Lucky 13, I've Got Your Number, or Animal Farm.
What do you think?
Animal Farm sounds good.
Animal Farm?
Okay, you've selected Animal Farm. Many books have animals as characters, and some even have animals in their titles. For 10 points each, identify these titles and or authors. We begin with number 1, Atticus Finch.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
That's correct. Ralph, Jack, and Piggy are stranded on a desert island in William Golding's Parable.
Lord of the Flies.
That's correct. The Cat in the Hat and the Fox in the Socks are classics by this good doctor.
Dr. Seuss.
That's correct. George and Lenny are migrant workers in the short John Steinbeck novel.
Mice and Men.
That's correct. Peter, Susan, and Edward go to Narnia through a clothes closet to meet Aslan.
Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
That's correct. This Scots poet wrote poems to a mouse and to a louse.
Burns.
Correct. Sherlock Holmes encounters a huge dog on the moors.
Baskervilles. Town of the Baskervilles.
That's correct. John and Lorraine befriend and betray Mr. Pignotti in Paul Zindel's novel.
Pass.
The Tiger and the Lamb are poems by this eccentric English poet.
Blake.
Correct. Petruchio woos and weds Katrina in this Shakespearean comedy.
The Taming of the Shrew.
That's correct. That's 10, and that is 9 out of 10. Milford, we turn to you. John and Lorraine befriend and betray Mr. Pignotti in Paul Zindel's novel.
Pigman?
Pigman is correct. And now, Milford, you may select between Lucky 13 and I've got your number.
Lucky.
I've got your number.
Okay, I've got your number here, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Instead, I'll give you a clue. And for 10 points each, you tell me. All of these answers will be numbers. We begin with number 1, the number of deadly sins and cardinal virtues.
7.
That's correct. The number on the black billiard ball.
8.
Correct. The number of tablets on which the 10 Commandments were carved.
2.
Correct. The number of players on each side during a soccer game.
11.
Correct. On Pennsylvania Avenue, it's the street address of the White House.
1600.
That's correct. Bart Simpson's age.
8.
Incorrect. It's the longitude of the international date line.
0.
Incorrect. The number of the constitutional amendment that protects you from self-incrimination.
5th.
Correct. The number of tentacles on a squid.
10.
Correct. The number of years celebrated in a silver anniversary.
25.
That's correct. You're through all 10, and you have 8 out of 10. We'll reset our clock at 30 seconds. Kearsley, I'm looking for numbers. First, Bart Simpson's age.
9.
It's incorrect. It's the longitude of the international date line.
180 degrees.
180 is correct, and Bart Simpson is 10 years old. In fact, he's been 10 for the last 11 years. And that's going to bring us to the end of round 2. We've got a lot of points to total up. We'll be back for some extra credit, but first let me introduce you to Milford coaches Derek Bott and Tim Donahue and their alternates for this semifinal game, Kyle Lewis, Elizabeth Stanton, and Jed Vanderklock. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We're ready for some extra credit, but first another introduction. I'd like you to meet from Kearsley High School their coach Mike Skidmore and alternates for today Zach Cook and David Watling. Okay, now we're ready to begin the extra credit. Teams, I'll ask you toss-ups as I did in round 1. Correct answers earn 10 points, but in this case, they also give you a shot at 10 points worth of extra credit. Remember to consult on extra credit questions. I'll take the captain's answers on those, but consult on extra credit only and not on the toss-ups. When the buzzer sounds at the end of the game, if I'm in the middle of a cycle of toss-up extra credit, I'll play through the cycle before the game is over. Here we go with your first toss-up. Aztec ruins, White Sands, and Carlsbad Caverns. Graham, Milford.
New Mexico?
New Mexico is correct. Milford, according to tradition, Romulus was the first king of Rome. Who became the first emperor of Rome in 27 B.C.?
Julius Caesar?
It's incorrect. Octavian is the answer. Here's your next toss-up. It's a spice made from nutmeg, a medieval war club, a ceremonial staff, and liquid tear gas. Graham, Milford.
Mace?
Mace is correct. Milford, at the 1888 Republican Presidential Convention, he received 1 vote on the 4th ballot, the first African-American to be nominated for president. Who was this former abolitionist and newspaper editor?
Douglas?
That's correct. Another toss-up teams. The United States, Canada, Great Britain, France, Italy, Germany, Japan, and Russia. What economic, Graham, Milford?
G8.
G8 is correct. Milford, in 1983, scientists discovered a long-sought subatomic particle, the boson, that carries the weak force. What letter of the alphabet designates that particle?
Beta.
It's incorrect. Actually, there are two. It's either Z or W. Here's your next toss-up. This Asian river carries so much silt that its delta grows by more than 100 feet every year. Jason Kearsley.
The Mekong.
That's correct. Kearsley, the first dawn of the new millennium, January 1st, 2001, was seen in these South Pacific islands which straddle the international date line. What islands have their capital at Suva?
The Philippines.
It's incorrect. Fiji is the answer. Your next toss-up. Most of us think they're plants. They're actually photosynthesizing, sedentary, meat-eating animals which catch tiny... Jason Kearsley.
Venus flytraps.
It's incorrect. Most of us think they're plants. They're actually photosynthesizing, sedentary, meat-eating animals which catch tiny animals in their stinging tentacles. What are these animals whose skeletons form colorful reefs? Graham, Milford.
Coral.
Coral is correct. Milford, one of the best sources of information about the ancient Indus River culture is the city of Mohenjo-Daro. In what modern country is it located?
India.
It's incorrect. Pakistan is the correct answer. We go to another toss-up. He built more monuments, took more wives, and fathered more children than any other pharaoh in history. Kent Kearsley.
Ramses.
Ramses is correct. Kearsley, despite its name, a kilobyte doesn't have 1,000 bytes. The actual number of bytes is equal to 2 to the 10th power. How many is that?
1,024.
That's correct. Your next toss-up teams. In 1902, this city was the capital of French West Africa. Today, it's the busiest port in West Africa and the capital of Senegal. What, Jason Kearsley?
Dakar.
That's correct. Kearsley, he dedicated his Dante's Symphony to Wagner and his Faust Symphony to Berlioz. Who was this romantic composer? Mendelssohn, Schumann, Liszt, or Chopin?
Liszt.
That's correct. Toss-up teams. It requires more than 1,000 different kinds of receptors, making it our most complex sense. Which of the five, Brett Milford?
Sense of smell.
That's correct. Milford, because it was built on marshy land, this Renaissance city preferred light brick buildings like the Palace of the Doge. What Italian city is it?
Venice.
Venice is correct. Toss-up teams. In poems like The Dream Keeper and The Weary Blues, he borrowed his, Graham Milford.
Fuse.
Hughes is correct. Milford, of the first 35 elements, it is by far the rarest. Fortunately for human beings, for whom it's deadly even in small amounts. This is a bonus, I'm sorry. What element is number 34?
Mercury.
It's incorrect. Arsenic is the correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. In 1953, he was appointed to the Supreme Court. In 1963, he chaired the commission which investigated Jason Kearsley.
Earl Warren.
That's correct. Kearsley, in 1995, Craig Venter sequenced the complete genetic code of a bacterium that causes ear infections in children. What six-letter word refers to an organism's complete genetic code?
Genome.
That's correct. Your next toss-up teams. It's a line through the center of a circle from Jason Kearsley.
A chord.
It's incorrect. It's a line through the center of a circle from one point on the circumference to another. What is it called? Luke Milford.
Diameter.
Diameter is correct. Milford, after having his first novel repeatedly rejected as depraved and depressing, He paid to have it published in 1893 under the pen name Johnston Smith, who was the real author of Maggie, a Girl of the Streets.
Hardy.
It's incorrect. Stephen Crane is the answer. Here's another toss-up. This 5-letter word can precede male, gang, saw, Chris Kearsley.
Chain.
Chain is correct. Kearsley, if we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear. What Shakespearean
Midsummer Night's
comedy...
Dream.
Say again?
Midsummer Night's Dream.
That's correct. Your next toss-up. Much of ancient Mesopotamia is now in this country. Jason Kearsley.
Iraq.
That's correct. Kearsley, after his victories against the Barbary pirates made him one of America's first heroes, towns all over the United States took the name of this naval commander. Who was he?
John Paul Jones.
It's incorrect. Stephen Decatur is the answer. Another toss-up. Sumer is Ikumen in is one of the oldest known English poems. In what century was it written? Was it the 9th, 11th, or 13th? Jason Kearsley.
11th.
Incorrect. Milford? Milford. Brett?
9th.
13th. Here's another toss-up. Radioactive emission comes in 3 forms: alpha particles, beta particles, and what? Jesse Milford.
Gamma.
That's correct. Milford, the father, painted On the Terrace and The Bathers. The son directed the classic movies Grand Illusion and The Rules of the Game. What last name was shared by Augustin and his son Jean?
Monet.
Renoir. Here's another toss-up. Or was that the end of the game? I didn't hear the buzzer, but I saw the numbers go. We are done through 8 minutes. Okay, that brings us to the end of our competition, and what a competition it is, just as you would expect. And now I want to take just a moment before we get to our second semifinal game to present this to Jason from Kearsley High School, their captain, and to the whole team. On behalf of all of us at High School Challenge, I want to congratulate you on being one of our Final Four in this 20th season of competition. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we're going to be right back. We hope you stay tuned as we see who will take on Milford for this year's championship right after this.